Contrary to popular belief, it's not a pot of gold that rests at the end of a rainbow. It's just me in a Speedo. What's up, boys? We got our breakfast going on. We've got 180-ish grams of 93.7 beef with 3 eggs and some ketchup, so I want to still live after this meal. And we got 2 bagels and about 40 grams of honey. Because of my muscle density, and yeah, it's just muscle density. It's not body composition. It's just the amount of mass I've accrued. Sorry, my brain shut off there for a second. 404 error, brain not found. I have to have a large amount of carbs in the morning because my metabolism is just so, I don't want to say fast, it's just so active when I'm sleeping, which means that I wake up deprived of nutrients, specifically carbohydrates. So I need a little bit extra boost of carbohydrates in the morning. And I take Buddy on a 45-minute walk after this meal. That little guy, hey bud. No. And I was experiencing dizziness and nausea before, and my coach pointed out that was hypoglycemia because of my muscle density. So we've thrown in the 2 bagels with honey in the morning and fixed it right up. So a great, not diagnosis, but prognosis of the problem at hand, and implementation of solutions. So we're gonna eat this meal probably and get going. So I just finished peeing out of my butthole, and you guys are gonna believe that this deadlift day, my underwear is gonna survive, just like how you go to bed every night believing that your gym crush is still a virgin. But we're out here doing a little buddy walk. Hey bud, hey bud, buddy, wanna say hi? Oh, hello. Yeah, he's having a good time. Buddy went to the vet yesterday for his regular checkup, get all his shots updated and stuff like that. And they came back and they're like, wow, this dog is healthy. And we were a little concerned because on his back we can see his vertebrae. And I talked to the doctor, and she was like, no, his musculature, perfect. His body fat percentage, perfect. His profile, perfect. His you can only see those ridges on his back because of the breed that he is and his posture. And I was like, oh, so he's sloucher. He's a sloucher, just a little slouching bud. But I was like, because his breed, Redbone Coonhound, is supposed to weigh between 50 and 70 pounds. That's like the range. And he weighs 68 pounds. And the vet was like, he's actually really lean, but he's a healthy lean. And if you're really concerned about his weight, like right now, he's perfect. He's absolutely perfect. If you want him to be at, hey, this dog is going to be bringing home gold ribbons at those dog shows, then he might want to lose 1 pound, but 1 pound at most. So Buddy's basically a dog equivalent of a bodybuilder somehow. But I've read Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm all up to date with it, still waiting for the next couple of books to come out. So I know those animal show people are weird. And that brings me up to my next topic. A lot of people are like, hey, why'd you start lifting? And that's a question that's everyone's got a different answer for. And the answer that a lot of men say, or a lot of men don't say, but is absolutely true, is that we just wanted to be like Goku, you know? Now, when I was a kid, I was like, damn, Goku has nice traps. He's got a well-defined neck. I want to be like Goku. Now, okay, you can't really see it in this shirt, but you'll see it later while I'm deadlifting and post deadlift posing, or pump check rather, is I got traps. But So I was watching Dragon Ball Z, and like, you go through and you're like, wow, Goku's so cool. Vegeta pops up, you're like, guy's a little small. But then you get some character development, and Trunks shows up. He's got a sword. You're like, wow, Trunks is the coolest guy on earth. I want to be like Trunks. Except Trunks has a bowl cut, and no one ever wants to have a bowl cut, except Gohan apparently. But then you get into the Majin Buu saga, and you're like, you know what, Daddy Vegeta, that's what I want to be. Majin Vegeta, those are goals right there. So like, as you're progressing through your fitness journey, you go from being wannabe Goku to Vegeta. But there's one character that we're not really talking about who wasn't canon until recently, because he only popped up in movies that were considered not canon. Good boy, bud. Yep. And that, my homies, is Broly. Now, Broly popped up in a bunch of the Dragon Ball Budokai fighting games. And every single time I had the opportunity to choose Broly, I chose Broly. Homie is massive. He's like the definition of over-muscled bodybuilder. And as a kid, I always chose Broly because Broly was big, he was strong, he was powerful, didn't give a fuck about what anyone else thought. And I was like, I was talking with my coach recently, Joe Sullivan, and he was like, yeah, this and this. I'm like, you know what? I just want to be like a 600-pound Broly. And I don't care if I'm going to die early. That's badass as fuck. I want to be Broly. So, I got a question for you guys. Since you've all made it through that little bit of a side rant. Which Dragon Ball character do you want to be? I mean, it's a different question of who is the coolest, because obviously the coolest breaks down to whoever Chris Sabat voices, which is Piccolo and Vegeta. Buddy, sit. Heal. And you don't know who Chris Sabat is. He also voiced Zoro and All Might, and literally any character you're like, wow, this character needs a manly voice. Chris Sabat, one of the higher ups in Funimation, just because of how consistent he is. So it's not who's the coolest, because Piccolo is the coolest. Vegeta, he's up there. He's either on par with Piccolo or he's tied with Piccolo. But that's not the question we're asking here. The question is, who do you want to be more like physically? And I'm not even going to list off characters, because then you guys, which Dragon Ball character did you want to be like as a kid, and who do you want to be like now? Because that's the real question. Because we're all autistic weebs here. We all lift for different reasons, and we never talk about which anime character inspired us to go into the gym, because 99 times out of 100 there was at least one anime character that inspired us to go into the gym. And it wasn't just heartbreak from a girl who rejected you, because let's be honest, none of us talk to girls. So who is it? Let me know. What's up, boys? We've got our pre-training meal going on. We've got 200 grams of Fruity Pebbles, 16 ounces of fat-free Fairlife milk, and our shaker cup. Our shaker cup is soaking in the sink with hot soapy water, because I forgot to clean it last night and just left protein in it. So, oops. So we gotta clean that up a little bit before I can use it. So here we are. Little guy decided to sit behind me while I ate my cereal. Yes, I do have cereal in my beard. And he was literally just snoring 2 seconds ago. Look at these little toe beans. He's just a happy little guy. There's a piece of... Ooh. There's Fruity Pebbles on my phone. And there are Fruity Pebbles in my belly. And now there's going to be cookies and cream in my gullet. It was a shot. A bad shot. Wayne Gretzky. You miss every shot you don't take. How many assists did he have in his career? I've got so much random stuff in my belly right now. All according to plan. But I'm chocked full. I think it's time for poop number 3 of the day. I swear, some authors out there just write stories and they're like, I'm going to end it. It's way too many people like this character, way too many people like this character. I'm going to write an ending so that the most amount of people are pissed off. Because let's be honest, they made it this far. They're going to finish it. They want their person to win. So, I feel like the author for the quintessential quintuplets, which I finished the series and the movie today, which is why I'm behind. It's about noon right now. I feel like either the author of quintessential quintuplets watched, what was it called? My High School Romantic Snafu, or the author of that series watched quintessential quintuplets and was like, I absolutely hate the ending of this, so I'm gonna make a series that's gonna be pretty good as well, and I'm gonna have the person, I'm gonna directly copy this person from one series to another and have them do the opposite. Because the ending of My Romantic Snafu, I was like, should have been the other person. And then the end of Quintessential Quintuplets, I was like, should have been literally anyone except for that one. Cool beans. But it was a pretty good show. So today we've got deadlifts. Deficit deadlifts. We're still on the deficit deadlift grind, I believe. You know what? We are, I believe. All I know is we've got a 4x4 555. 2-inch deficit, probably. I'll need to double check, see if it's regular deadlifts or deficit deadlifts. Because we've been doing deficit deadlifts for the past 6 weeks. And we haven't done any deadlifts from the floor in that time. So I feel like we're getting closer and closer to a point where we're going to be changing. We're going to be switching over. Maybe within the next, we'll probably have either this week or 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, rather, at the start of a new block, is when we're going to switch over to regular deadlifts. But we got a 4x4, 4 minutes rest, 555. That's within 10 pounds of my previous 4-rep PR before I started with Joe Sullivan, my current coach. So, it's really cool being able to see your old PRs end up being your new working weights, with not just new working weights, but new harder variation working weights, because deficit deadlifts, they're harder. And after the first American Pro, my deadlift was, I'd had a bad deadlift for so long, and I was talking with Dan Bell. We were going back and forth in our DMs together, and he was like, what I would do is I would just do deficit deadlifts until my hands bled, and we're getting to that now. So we're doing deficit deadlifts till our eyes bleed. I'm not going to check my calluses, because that's just going to be, that's going to jinx it. But we haven't ripped any calluses in a hot minute. When was the last time I tore a callus? Because I didn't tear a callus at either of my last 2 meets, or in preps for either meet. So I don't really remember when the last time was. But yeah, that's what we got going on today. We've got the thoracic spine extension, bent over rows after the leg press, deep leg press, light leg press, supersetted with banded lat prayers. So we got that as a warm-up or pre-fatigue work, and then we've got thoracic spine extended, chest-supported row as also a pre-fatiguing warm-up. And then we've got the 4x4 deficit deadlifts, 555. Then we've got those prone lat or leg abduction. You know, I'm strong enough, I should know the difference between abduction or adduction, but like they're so similar. It's such a specific muscle group that it's like, we rarely work on them, but I'm working on them now. Supersetted with goblet squats and then calf raises. So that's what we got going on today. Coming up on the gym now. I've got 20 minutes and 32 seconds of space left on my phone. I got to do some deletions. I mean, to be fair, I had over an hour worth of footage for last video, and I did cut down that video a little bit, just for the sake of making sure you guys aren't getting too bored with these videos, trying to keep the these vlog videos around 30 to 45 minutes, and then the I'm looking at trying to keep the educational instructional videos between 10 and 25 minutes. So hopefully I'm following up with those, and things are going well. So off to deadlifts. You know, it's a tough training day when you leave a sweat angel and it's still there the next day. Congrats, whoever that was.
Awesome.
What is up, home dog millionaires? Just finished deadlifting. The 4x4 555 4 minutes rest was actually a lot easier than I expected. I expected it to kind of be a little I don't want to say grindery, because I don't use grinder at all, ever. I don't even know what grinder is. I don't even eat grinder. I was expecting it to be a little bit of a struggle, where basically I was thinking that it was gonna like feel heavy, and it didn't. Especially that first rep of the first set. I was like, well, okay then. I guess this is happening. And then the first rep of the second set got way out of control, like went to one side, and I almost fell back on almost fell backwards, basically. I got on my heels a little too aggressively. You can see my toes lift up when I'm doing it. And I just wasn't tight enough going through it. Like I was playing around with, I watched my 772 deadlift the other day when I was making my upper body tightness video for you guys, and I noticed that my hips started to rise before everything else, and I was like, that's exactly what I'm talking about in this video. Something is not tight enough. So I'm playing around with queuing up my lats and my core to try and get the whatever tightness is lacking in my deadlift to like pick up the slack a little bit, you know, because I want to be a good deadlifter. I don't want to be a bench specialist or a squat specialist. I want to be a total specialist. Don't want to be a dot specialist, because that's gay. Dots are gay. Fuck dots. But we're trying to be a total specialist, and that means that we've got 3 different lifts that we have to be good at, and those 3 lifts are squat, bench, and deadlift. And for the longest time, my deadlift hasn't been good, but 555, it's I remember when I first started powerlifting, I was very heavily involved in the RPS Federation, because that's all that was around me. And I ended up meeting the founder of RPS, Gene Rishlak, rest in peace, and he made it fun. He made it fun because anytime someone put on 555 on the bar for a deadlift attempt, he would reference, I believe it was a Slipknot song. It was like, you give me 555, I give you 666. And he had a special rule in that anyone who took 665, so you were only allowed to take you were only allowed to do like the 672.5, or like the weird numbers where you're going up by 2.5 pounds if you're going for an all-time world record. But there is a caveat to that rule that Gene implemented that said anyone who takes 665 is allowed to take 666 if they want, just to continue that reference. And I was deadlifting today, and I was like, wow, that's cool. That's cool to think about. And I might do that on my bench one of these days. Take a 666, just in homage to Gene's love for the 555, 666. reference. So good deadlift day. The 4x4. The last set was how I expected the first set to feel, because the last warm-up was not good at all. Like, I even had the full kit on. I had the belt and I had the mouth guard in. Mouth guard is really good. Someone says it helps with certain extension and tightness in certain places. I'm like, I got a root canal and that shit's expensive, so I got a mouth guard so I don't have to pay for that twice. I mean, yeah, that's the most adult reason possible. But everyone swears by mouth guards. Even Dan Bell's got a mouth guard, so there's something to it. I can't bench with a mouth guard. I always fear that it's going to fall into the back of my throat. So I can't do that, but it is what it is. So the deadlift went way better than expected. We're pulling together another string of good days. We had a little bit of a snafu on the bench yesterday with the miscounting of numbers, and kind of going forward with that, we didn't just have a good day, we had a day better than expected. And it's kind of cool seeing how the progression is going based on how my coach wants it to go. And it's exactly why you have a coach, because I want to go faster than coach is letting me go, but the progress that we're making is fantastical, and it's way better than what it would be if we were going faster and we get a little greedy with the numbers, because 555 is kind of an ugly number if you think about it. I mean, we're using kilo plates and a kabuki bar and the comp collar, so it's 556 point whatever, I don't know, kilos never made it to the moon. So you want to go up by plates, another red or another blue. It's like, if it's not a red or I've been quoted as saying, if it's not a full plate, it doesn't belong on bar. Which, I mean, that's being purposefully kind of trying to be a little shit, trying to stir the pot a little bit for people who but I usually say that when female lifters ask me what kind of jump they should do, because they're like, I don't know, do I do like a half-pound jump or a 1.5-pound jump? What kind of jump should I do? And I'm like, plate up, bitch. She's like, I'm really close to the 25 for a set of 5, and I'm plate up. Hey, plate up. That's whenever anyone asks me for what weight they should put on the bar, I always answer plate up. If it's not a 45 red or a blue, it doesn't belong on the bar. Plate up. Which is, it's terrible advice, but it's that hard-headedness that got me to where I'm at today. I don't know if it's because of it or in spite of it, but but I am doing the Uber Eats now. I'm already logged in, and I've got my location updating as I'm driving, as I go towards the hot spot of where the majority of the food places are. So be ready for some of the most random thought processes that go on in my head. I'm gonna try and make each clip less than a minute, so you boys buckle up, because you best believe I won't be buckled up. I'm buckled up right now, but I won't always be, because it's faster, and I'm not a woman, so I know how to drive. Gosh. I'll see you guys with some updates as I do this Uber Eats. I just did a pickup at a Mexican restaurant, and the restaurant had bulletproof glass and was locked and said was not open to public. Please ring doorbell for assistance. You best believe that's probably the absolute best Mexican food in the entire city. That is what I believe. It's like the old adage that, like, it's like if the kid at the Chinese food place is barely out of his Huggies, you know the Chinese food is going to be good. If the Chinese food place is falling apart and is just, you don't even know that it's a Chinese food place because the sign is just gone, and like it's you just know there's Chinese food there. That's going to be the just best Chinese food place in the entire place. I feel Like, that is accurate for all food places. The worse the state, as long as it's following the health codes, the better the food's going to be. But I have IBS, so I don't think I can have Mexican food. So rest in peace, my hopes and dreams for delicious food tonight. Little guy, every now and then there's a buddy puppy who is a very sleepy guy. Little guy, wanna come out and take some business and do a little poopy. Little guy, there he is. Every now and then there is a bud. I can't come up with any more lyrics on the fly, bud. No! Sit, buddy. Sit. Good boy. Vegeta isn't just the prince of the Saiyans. He's also the king and the hope, the prince that was promised for all men with a receding hairline. Just spike it up, homie. Have that Vegeta do. You'll be cool for it. You'll be cool for it. Alright, boys, we've got our beef meal going on here. We've got 220 grams of 93.7 ground beef. We've got 70 grams of guacamole and 400 grams of rice. And the screen went to sleep. Also, Buddy is mad because I'm not letting him chew on Zelda's ears. That's not being a good boy, bud. Hey, hey. Boop. Okay. Alright, so now that we're done eating and everything else is done for the day, and we don't have a car right now, we are in the process of working on an audiobook project called Pussy Pentacles and Power by Tarika Bell. And I haven't started the recording on it yet. I have to do some character profiles so I can maintain... I wish you guys saw the way the buddy just jumped up there. He declared that the spot was his, and... Okay. You satisfied? He's a cuddle addict. I need to do character profiles so that I keep a... It's hard to determine things in the back of your mind, like keep things straight as to which voices you give certain characters. I know there's at least 4 characters. There's 2 females and 2 males. 22 pages long. I don't know if there's any more, or there might be there's got to be some sort of antagonistic existence going on there. So probably at least 5, maybe 6 characters going on. The problem is they're all supposed to be African American, and I don't know. If you can't tell, I am not African American, and if I do anything to try to sound African American, that's racist. So I'm gonna try and channel my inner Eminem, where I'm not trying to be black, I'm just trying to be urban. Except Eminem doesn't have to try because he's actually he's not a halfway crook. I hope you got that reference. Anyways, that's what I'm going to be doing. And then I'll probably check back in with you guys when I'm all hot and sweaty, because the closet that I record in, that I turned into a recording studio, is very hot. It's very hot, and I'm not able to have a fan in there. So the only thing that cools me down is consuming water. I just stay hydrated. And I take my shirt off. If it gets wet, too wet, moist. So I'll probably check in with you guys right after that, and then we get a cheat meal today, which is why we had the beef meal now instead of the chicken meal, because the beef meal is quicker to cook and consume. That's why we went with it. So I'll see you guys back later. So far, there's 6 characters. There's 4 females. One of them has a generic female voice that I do for main character females because she's the main character female. And then the rest of them are various shades of higher pitches of generic female. And it's like when you do a female voice, you have to bring the tone more orally and softer. And it's like where that is in the mouthfeel is where the different tones are. My generic female is further back, and then the closer to the front of the mouth that it is, the higher the pitch gets, and I kind of constrict the vocal cords a little bit for those. So it's kind of hard to differentiate the females a little bit, but none of them are in the same scene together. So if there's a male and a female talking, the female, you know who they are so far. But there's two male characters. One I've based off of a joke that my brothers and I have had. So if you ever go to prison, your cellmate is going to be this guy. He's going to be like a 7-foot, 600-pound black guy who got life in prison for jaywalking. And you won't hear him coming ever. You'll just hear heavy breathing and, baby, I'm a buddy your bread. And that's the main male voice, and it really fits him. And then the antagonistic male voice is just my voice, just a little deeper. And it's written in a specific way that the words are pronounced differently, if that makes sense. So it's like, I don't know about you, but 50, what was it? What did he say? My brother 50 Cent said, put a baby in you, baby, be a millionaire. That was a line from the book. So I hope you guys understand the different voices going on there, and the thought process of differentiating the different voices. And I have a textual character differentiation script, but I don't have Audible or MP3 files for each character because it's just such a short project. I should be done with it within the next 2 days, so not too bad, but I'm about a quarter of the way through, maybe a third of the way through. It is smut. It has smut in it, and it's not good smut. Her Glory, first time coming across that one. Stroking Vigorously, that's another one. And I got my little buddy here, and he is chewing vigorously. Anyways, got Domino's.